My name is Annette Ciketic. I am a native-born San Pedro. I have a few roles in life. I'm an artist, a teacher, the executive director of fINdings Art Center here in San Pedro. As a child, I went to Mary Star of the Sea, and my parents worked a lot. My father was a fisherman, so I spent a lot of time after school hanging out at school with the nuns, and I think they really formulated my mind to head in that direction. They were my heroes and my role models, and I've been really fortunate to have a lot of heroes in my life who taught me about the value of education. And my parents themselves, although they both were cannery and fishermen workers, they firmly believed in solid, good education. So I was blessed to oblige. Well, they were my teachers, number one. And I went to Immaculate Heart College, and there was a nun by the name of Sister Mary Corrida Kent, who is a world-renowned artist, and she really formulated and taught me really the essence of what art was all about. And she would say things like, we have no art, we do everything as well as we can, and one should never blink, and we should grasp every moment as a moment. That really infiltrated my mind as far as where to go, and I've always been so happy with my education that I wanted to share that opportunity with others and give people opportunities. So that's why fINdings Art Center was even formed, was to continue the legacy of Sister Corrida and her method of education and open this as a center primarily for causes, opportunities for people to come together and use the center in their creative ways. First of all, I think women do get bum raps a lot, and I have the calling to help women see that they're bigger than the world has made them, and give them a chance. Someone said to me, you know, come on, you can do this. And I think it's a pay it forward to tell other women that they can do it too, whatever their dream, goal or dream is, to keep going. My parents were born in Croatia. They came 2 different times, they didn't come together. My mom was 12, and her family came, you know, the old story of on the ship and across across America on the train and a little bit. Her father was waiting for them in Seattle, so there was my grandmother and her 4 children who knew no English and came across the country by train. And she talks about, you know, how hungry they were, and the first time the food they were given was a banana. Someone felt sorry for them on the train, and they didn't even know what a banana was and tried to bite into the banana, and that vivid image. And my father came to this country as a young man also. He was married previously, and his wife was, it was kind of tradition then that the husbands come and find work, get settled, and then bring their families. And his wife, though, died of tuberculosis, so he left his son to be raised, and that right then the war broke out. So my brother was raised by my aunt in Croatia, or Yugoslavia at that time. And so my mother too was married previously, and her husband died on a boat, and so she was a widow also, and they happened to find each other, and the rest is history. At that time, fishing industry was thriving, and my father had hard work but good work, and my mother got a job in the canneries. So that was a good thing and a difficult thing, because at those, you know, it was like the Leave It to Beaver families, except for ours, because my mom was not home, she was working. But In those days, the men were off to sea a lot, and they fished for 4 to 5 months before they came home. So the women really ran the household. And again, you asked me about the women's influence. From a very early age, I learned that women have to take care of themselves and be independent and not dependent on anyone else besides their own good living. Well, the good news about this town, at that time there were a whole lot of immigrants and there were a whole lot of nationalities, and it wasn't unusual. I remember once the teacher was doing a survey of who was who in the class, and she asked all of the people from, quote, Yugoslavia to stand up, and I remember it was 51% of the class were first-generation immigrants. The influence of my mother being home alone, raising 5 children at that time, and all the other influences of godmothers and aunts raising us, it gave me a lot of time to be creative. I spent a lot of time doing art or making gifts for people, I think. And also, I always say it's the nuns having me do bulletin boards after school that really encourage my art abilities and talents to go in that direction. So from that I realized that art it's not just expression, art is healing, art is encouraging, empowering, art is gift giving, and all of that is part of what I do. So that has come over to the Women's fINdings Project, which is part of what fINdings Art Center is today. I think there's so many favorites, but one of the things we were just talking about, and this is in honor of the 125th birthday, is as a child we had fishermen fiestas, and the families would come together and get on their daddy's boats, wherever their daddies worked, and we'd have a big picnic, annual picnic every year, and that was just a wonderful time. And there would probably be 200-300 people on a boat, maybe even more, who knows. And we would have this huge parade, and it was an annual event. And so I think that whole Fisherman Fiesta concept of blessing of the flea and the families coming together and being on our daddy, that was probably the original go to work with your daddy day, kind of thing. So that was a great memory, is the San Pedro Fisherman Fiesta.